Hello, I'm the Pageant Nerd, and welcome to the second and final episode of my series on the longest placement streaks at Miss Universe. In part 1, I covered all the countries that had ever achieved 8 consecutive placements or more. Up until a few years ago, that list looked like this. Fast forward to 2019, and we've had multiple new entries that have pushed Finland out of the top 8. Heading into the next Miss Universe, whenever that might be held, we have an unprecedented 3 active streaks of 9 straight placements or more. That's the focus of today's clip, so let's dive right in. Brazil has an impressive history at Miss Universe, dating back to the pageant's early days. Debuting in the 3rd edition in 1954, Brazil placed in 18 of its first 20 attempts, winning 2 crowns in 1963 and 68, and finishing first runner-up another 4 times. And while the preceding decades have been a little leaner, Brazil still claimed another first runner-up finish in 2007. Then came 2011, and the controversial victory at Miss Brazil of Priscila Machado. Machado wasn't considered one of the title favourites, and when she won despite the unauthorised release of a topless photo before the pageant, in violation of contest rules, uproar ensued. With Brazil hosting the 60th anniversary Miss Universe pageant later that year, controversy followed Machado to São Paulo. She was booed during the preliminary competition, after which she pleaded for support from her compatriots. When she was called into the top 16, Machado's provocative gesture, seeking applause from the crowd, drew a mixed response. Defying expectations, she survived 2 more eliminations, and when she instinctively repeated the actions when named second runner-up, she quickly changed tack, thanking the São Paulo audience with waves and kisses. 2 more top 5 finishes followed, with Gabriela Marcos and Jacqueline Oliveira both placing 4th runner-up in 2012 and 13 respectively. The placements have continued uninterrupted since then, with 5 semi-final results and 1 top 10. The semi-final finishes of Martina Brandt in 2015 and Julia Orta in 2019 were particularly surprising, as they'd been earmarked as title contenders going into finals night. At 38 placements all time, Brazil is 3rd on the list, behind Miss Universe titans USA and Venezuela, with 63 and 44 placements respectively. Brazil's current streak marks the 3rd time they've placed 7 times or more consecutively. Can they hit double digits for the first time? We'll have to wait and see. As I mentioned in part 1 of this series, the USA is no stranger to lengthy consecutive placement runs. They own 2 of the top 3 longest streaks, with 22 and 18 in a row. Venezuela is at number 2 with 21. And though there's no other country that's compiled 2 runs of 10 years or more, the USA is just a step away from completing its 3rd. Following Rima Fakir's exclusion from the 2010 semi-finals, the USA hasn't looked back, with 9 straight placements alongside Brazil, as you just saw, starting with Alyssa Campanella's top 16 finish in 2011. Olivia Culpo followed with the USA's record-breaking 8th Miss Universe crown in 2012. Fast forward 8 years, and she's on the sought-after cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Erin Brady reached the top 10 in Moscow in 2013, and then Nia Sanchez nearly followed in Culpo's footsteps, finishing first runner-up in 2014 to Colombia's Paulina Vega. Another Olivia Jordan that is, placed second runner-up in 2015, getting caught up in the confusion of that crowning incident. Then DC's finest, Deshauna Barber and Kyra McCullough, reached the top 9 and top 10 the next 2 years. Missing the semi-finals only once in its first 46 attempts at Miss Universe, the USA has been excluded in 3 of the past 21. Qualification these days is no longer assured. So when Sarah Rose Summers made the top 20 only as a wildcard in 2018, having been involved in a controversial social media video about her fellow contestants, the relief on her face was telling.
I'm very, very grateful. Very grateful.
Yes.
Chesley Christ placed top 10 in Atlanta in 2019, giving the USA a shot at another double-digit streak at the next Miss Universe competition. But if we go back to that moment in 2010, we realise what was disappointment for some was the start of something amazing for others.
The Philippines!
When Venus Ra was called into the very final spot of the top 15 in 2010, little did we know it would kick off the Philippines' golden age at Miss Universe. It was against the odds for 2 reasons. Firstly, the Philippines had failed to place in the previous 10 Miss Universe pageants.
Philippines!
Hopes had been high after Miriam Kiambao's first runner-up finish in 1999, but what followed was the Philippines' longest ever drought at Miss Universe, consecutive non-placements from 2000 through to 2009. Secondly, Venus Ra was very close to not making it to Miss Universe at all. After winning Binibining Pilipinas 2010, she was temporarily stripped of her title due to inconsistencies with her residency status. Having been born in the Middle East, yet raised from a young age in the Philippines, it emerged she didn't have Philippine citizenship, and as such, a runner-up in Binibining Pilipinas was scheduled to take her place at Miss Universe. But after threats of legal action, intervention from the Miss Universe organisation, and the eventual issuing of a Philippine passport, Venus Ra was reinstated and made her way to Las Vegas for Miss Universe. As you saw, she qualified for the semi-finals and performed brilliantly through the swimsuit and evening gown competitions on finals night to reach the top 5. And despite her
Major
boo-boo during the final question, Venus was nonetheless the trailblazer who launched a wave of momentum with her 4th runner-up finish. Her fellow Filipinas have ridden that wave for the next 9 years and counting, collecting 2 titles, a first runner-up, 2 more top 5s, a top 6, 2 top 10s, and a top 20, bringing us to the present day and hopes of extending that incredible streak. So, what fueled this dramatic and immediate turnaround? In seeking input from Filipino pageant fans themselves, it seems to be a few factors, and there may be more, so feel free to leave your thoughts below. Firstly, the training provided to Filipino title holders was stepped up at the turn of the millennium, with the likes of the Aces and Queens and Kagandahang Flores beauty camps churning out a string of title holders and runners-up, and even attracting the occasional non-Filipino contestant preparing for international competitions.
In beauty pageants, I call it The Aura. The Aura by Jonas Antonio Gapo.
Secondly, social media. Filipino pageant fans are some of the most passionate and enthusiastic in the world. It's no surprise, therefore, they've helped their bets win numerous fan-voted Miss Photogenic awards over the years, and they're some of the most vocal supporters in person, regardless of where Miss Universe is held each year. All of this demonstrates that Filipino success at Miss Universe equates to success for Miss Universe, period. Thirdly, and as I mentioned before, momentum. Venus Ra's success put the Philippines back on the international pageant map, which in turn motivated more Filipinas to chase their dreams through pageantry. With the aforementioned factors all coming into play, the top 5 finishers at Miss Universe kept on coming. Shamsi Supsup followed in 2011 as 3rd runner-up, then Janine Tugonon posted her country's best Miss Universe finish since 1999, with another first runner-up showing in 2012. Before the absolute peak of Miss Universe victories that were to follow, 2013 was a major milestone in the Philippine pageant scene. Its batch of Binibinis in the 50th anniversary Binibining Pilipinas Gold produced 3 international title holders that year: Miss International, Bea Rose Santiago, Miss Supranational, Mutia Johanna Datul, and Miss Tourism International, Angeli Dion Gomez, plus Miss Universe third runner-up, Ariela Arida. All that, in addition to Megan Young's Miss World victory, their first ever at that pageant. And let's not forget the Binibining Pilipinas first runner-up of 2013, who had much bigger things in store 2 years later.
That was the only year where they had 5 winners, four winners with crowns, and 1 lone runner-up.
Right.
It was like being the spare tire.
Right. Mary Jane Lastimosa!
2014 and 15 provided ample proof that persistence is indeed rewarded, when the next 2 Miss Universe Philippines crowns went to delegates competing in their third Binibining Pilipinas. Mary Jean Lastimosa triumphed in 2014 and made the top 10 at Miss Universe. And then of course it was Pia Alonso Wurzbach's turn. Having missed out on a title in her first 2 attempts, Wurzbach didn't hesitate at trying for a third time. Fortune favours the brave after all.
Binibini Tap! Pia Alonso! Wurzbach!
While the Philippines had placed at the previous 5 editions of Miss Universe, Wurzbach was up against formidable competition in the form of Miss Colombia, Ariadna Gutierrez, Miss Venezuela, Mariana Jimenez, and Miss USA, Olivia Jordan. But Pia was immensely well prepared, and every aspect of her performance on finals night was flawless. Well, almost. Her answer to the final word question, "Why should you be the next Miss Universe?" created one of those moments that'll stick with pageant fans for decades to come.
I want to show the world, the universe rather, that I am confidently beautiful with a heart. Thank you.
We all know what went down next, so I'll save you the repetition, shall I?
I won the Miss Universe.
Irrespective of how it actually happened, Wurzbach had rightfully claimed the Philippines' third Miss Universe crown and first in 42 years. Needless to say, the reception back home was momentous.
I have to apologize. Universe 2015 is Philippines.
I can't wait to share my victory with my family and my friends and my fellow countrymen.
Pia's victory helped return the Miss Universe pageant to the Philippines for a third time the following year, allowing the popular queen to hand over her title on home soil to France's Iris Mittener in beautiful scenes. And in a mirror image of the last time the Philippines hosted Miss Universe in 1994, local favourite Maxine Medina matched the feat of Charlene Gonzalez by reaching the top 6, much to the delight of the Manila crowd. Rachel Peters overcame the scare of being called amongst the wildcards in the new regional format initiated in 2017 and posted another strong top 10 finish.
What does it mean to you right now, representing one of the most, as you can tell, enthusiastic nations when it comes to Miss Universe?
It means the world to me. It means the universe to me, and I can hear the entire Philippines screaming for me all the way from here. I love you, Philippines!
And then came 2018. The Philippines was about to reach peak pageant. After a top 5 finish at Miss World 2016, speculation mounted about another tilt at international glory by Catriona Gray. Gray, a philanthropist, singer and model, announced in January 2018 her intent to chase that year's Binibining Pilipinas and ultimately Miss Universe crowns, creating a tidal wave of excitement. Having been with Aces and Queens for her Miss World campaign, she was now an independent candidate with a team assembled many months prior, preparing tirelessly on all aspects of her upcoming performance. Sweeping to national victory 2 months later, Gray provided a hint of the iconic moment she would deliver at Miss Universe, not to mention the incredibly articulate answer she gave in the question round.
as women, we're the head of a household, and we have amazing influence not only in our own families as mothers, sisters, and friends, but also in our community.
Binibini 20, Catriona Gray!
Gray was to become the first Filipina to compete at both Miss World and Miss Universe, but her history-making efforts were just getting started. At the Miss Universe preliminaries in Bangkok, Gray debuted her slow-mo turn, which drew the admiration of none other than supermodel Tyra Banks. And that lava walk, the product of those numerous months of training, and which led to countless imitators. As it's often said in pageant circles, it's one woman's destiny to win the crown, and indeed, it was Catriona Gray's to win Miss Universe. Brushing aside Miss World disappointment, everything fell into place in Thailand for Gray, from her stunning volcano-inspired gown to her beautifully constructed final answer and final walk with teen idol Neo.
Philippines!
And just like that, the Philippines had its second Miss Universe title in just 4 years, and fourth overall. In both Philippines' victories at Miss Universe in the past decade, they prevented a back-to-back from occurring, for South Africa in 2018 and Colombia 3 years earlier. And in further proof of the impact Philippines has had on the world of pageantry, Wurzbach and Gray are currently the only Miss Universes with more than 10 million Instagram followers each. Gazini Granados faced incredible pressure going into Miss Universe 2019, and while her top 20 finish ended hopes of the Philippines' own back-to-back, it nonetheless notched its first ever double-digit placement streak at any of the major international pageants, a phenomenal achievement by Gazini and her 9 predecessors. But the big question remains, can the Philippines venture further into double-digit territory? That question is all the more relevant this year as the Philippine Miss Universe franchise has changed hands for the first time in 56 years. Shamsi Supsup is the new National Director of Miss Universe Philippines, with Binibining Pilipinas Charities having held the Miss Universe franchise since 1964. While at one time Binibining Pilipinas crowned Filipino representatives for the Miss World, Miss Universe and Miss International pageants, among others, Miss International remains the most notable pageant it continues to provide candidates for. With a further splintering of the national pageant system in the Philippines, it'll be interesting to see how this impacts their ability to win more international crowns, and of course whether they can extend their placement run at Miss Universe. That concludes my mini-series on the longest placement streaks at Miss Universe. If you like this clip, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to check out part 1 and my other videos here if you haven't done so already. And please follow me on Instagram for more regular pageant updates of a nerdy kind. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon, but in the meantime, it's bye for now from the Pageant Nerd.